What made my roommate completely regret telling me my cooking was toxic? I'd been living with Melly for 7 months when she ambushed me during Monday Night Football with a printed PowerPoint presentation about the dangers of meat consumption. Starting next month, this is going to be a plant-based household, she announced while I was eating buffalo wings I'd specifically ordered for the game. The smell of cooking meat is literally toxic, and I can't live with someone who brings death into our shared space every single day. I stared at her leather boots and the cheese pizza she'd ordered for herself. You're making this decision for both of us without any discussion? I asked. It's about creating a positive living environment free from violence and suffering, she said while wearing a Canada Goose jacket that cost more than our rent. If you really cared about wellness and consciousness, you'd understand that plant-based living is the only ethical choice for evolved humans. I looked at the apartment I'd been living in for 3 years before she even moved in 7 months ago. You know what? You're absolutely right about ethical living. The next morning, I got rid of everything in our apartment that wasn't strictly vegan, including her designer leather purse collection that she kept displayed on a special shelf. When she came home from work, she found me loading her wool sweaters into donation bags. What are you doing with my things? She shrieked, watching me toss her favorite cashmere scarf into the pile. These are all animal products, which means they're part of the system of violence and suffering you were talking about, I explained calmly. Wool comes from sheep exploitation and leather is literally skin, so obviously they can't stay in our ethical household. But I was only talking about food and diet, she stammered as I picked up her suede boots. That's called a plant-based diet, but you said we need an ethical household free from death, I reminded her, using her exact words. True veganism means nothing from animals whatsoever. I held up her expensive face cream. This has collagen and beeswax, so it has to go. Over the next week, I systematically removed every non-vegan item while she watched in growing horror. Her silk pillowcases were replaced with scratchy synthetic ones that made her hair frizzy. I removed all her makeup after finding carmine and lanolin in the ingredients. You wanted consciousness and evolution, I replied, tossing her favorite conditioner that contained keratin. How can we claim to care about suffering while rubbing dead animals into our hair? I was actually taking everything to a storage unit rather than actually throwing it out, but Melly didn't need to know that. When she tried to order Thai food, I intercepted the delivery. Fish sauce is made from fermented anchovies, I explained, sending the confused driver away. Most Asian restaurants use oyster sauce too, so we can't order from places that aren't certified vegan. Then Melly's parents visited for her birthday weekend, and I served them a raw vegetable platter instead of the elaborate spread she'd planned, and she was about to lose it. Where's the brie and prosciutto board? Her mother asked, staring at uncut carrots and celery. Those come from exploited animals, which Melly taught me contribute to violence, I explained cheerfully. She opened my eyes to how our choices reflect our values, so everything in our home aligns with those ethics now. Her father picked up a whole unwashed radish, looking confused. Even the wine has to be vegan since most wines use egg whites or fish bladder in processing, I added, pouring them glasses of natural wine that tasted like fermented dirt. Melly's face went through several shades of red as her mother asked about butter for the bread. Butter is dairy from enslaved cows, I said with maximum sincerity. Melly believes evolved humans don't exploit animals for nutrition. Her parents exchanged concerned looks while Melly desperately tried to explain she just meant plant-based, not insane. The situation reached nuclear levels when her new boyfriend came over, and I spent the evening educating him about their lifestyle. Did Melly tell you about our commitment to ending animal suffering? I asked while he tried to watch the movie. We don't use any products tested on animals, which includes most contraceptives, just so you're aware. He looked horrified as I explained which protection brands were cruelty-free. When he mentioned grabbing dinner, I pulled out my phone. There are only 3 restaurants in a 40-mile radius that are certified vegan. Melly dragged me to the kitchen, shaking with rage. Stop terrorizing my boyfriend with your insane vegan propaganda. I'm just following your lead about conscious ethical living, I replied innocently. You said bringing death into our space was unacceptable. By week 3, she was at her limit when I refused to kill the cockroaches that had invaded our kitchen. They're living beings with their own consciousness, I explained as one crawled across her coffee mug. Violence against any creature goes against the ethical household you wanted. She stood on a chair screaming while I gently caught one in a cup. These are disgusting disease-carrying pests, she cried. That's what people say about cows and pigs, but you taught me all lives have value, I said, releasing it onto the counter. When mice moved into her closet and destroyed her last remaining shoes, I simply shrugged. They're just trying to survive like all of us in this beautiful ecosystem we share. She lasted exactly 2 more days before completely melting down. Fine, eat whatever you want, she screamed after finding me feeding the mice organic almonds. I don't care if you want to destroy your body with meat, just please stop this insanity. I smiled sweetly while cuddling the humane trap containing her newest roommate. I brought back everything from the storage unit and she never critiqued my eating habits again.